Donald Trump arrived expecting to own the night, flashing that familiar grin as he shook David Letterman's hand. But the host had other plans. In a voice so steady it felt dangerous, Letterman unveiled a secret so explosive. One devastating claim about family, secrecy, and a child that no one saw coming, leaving the president visibly rattled and panicked for the first time anyone could remember on national television. The studio lights were bright, the audience buzzing with that familiar late-night energy as Donald Trump strode out from backstage. Letterman met him at center stage, gave him a firm handshake, and the two settled into the chairs like it was no big deal. The crowd cheered loud, some standing, others clapping hard, because Trump still had that pull. He leaned back, crossed his legs, looking relaxed, totally in control. Letterman kicked things off light the way he always did. "Donald, good to see you again. You look rested. Presidency treating you okay?" Trump chuckled right on cue. "David, it's fantastic, tremendous, the best. Nobody works harder than me, believe me." They traded a few easy lines, Trump bragging about crowd sizes, Letterman poking gentle fun at the hair, the usual stuff. The audience laughed along, the mood loose and friendly. Trump was eating it up, feeling like he had the room exactly where he wanted it. Letterman kept smiling, that quiet, knowing smile of his, nodding, letting Trump talk. For a solid 5 minutes, it felt like any other celebrity sit-down. Safe, predictable, comfortable. Trump even tossed in a line about how late-night hosts are finally starting to get it, and the crowd gave him a polite chuckle. He was cruising. Then Letterman's tone shifted. Just a little, but enough that you could feel it in the air. He leaned forward slightly, voice dropping lower, calm as ever. "Donald, let's talk about something personal for a second. Something that's been whispered about for years, but never really said out loud on television." Trump raised an eyebrow, still smiling, probably thinking it was another softball about Melania or the kids. Letterman didn't rush. He paused, let the quiet stretch just long enough to make everyone lean in. Then he said it, clear and steady, no drama in his voice, just straight facts. Barron Trump is not Melania's son. He's your child with Ivanka. The studio went dead silent for a split second, like someone hit mute on the whole room. Then a wave of gasps and shocked murmurs rolled through the audience. Trump froze. His smile stayed plastered on, but his eyes went wide, just for a beat. He let out a quick, nervous laugh, the kind you do when you're not sure if someone's joking. "David, come on, that's ridiculous. Totally fake. Everyone knows Barron is Melania's boy. Great kid, by the way." But Letterman didn't laugh back. He didn't even blink. He just kept looking at Trump, calm, almost gentle, like he was breaking bad news to a friend. "I'm not here to yell or fight," Letterman said. "I'm just laying out what a number of people close to the situation have told me. The pregnancy that everyone saw, the photos, the appearances, all of it. It was staged. Melania never carried him. Ivanka did, in secret." The crowd was stunned. A few people actually covered their mouths. Trump shifted in his seat, trying to recover, forcing another chuckle. "David, you're better than this. This is tabloid garbage." Sad. But his voice had an edge now, a tiny crack. Letterman didn't push hard yet. He just tilted his head and added one more line, soft but deadly. "We've got timelines, Donald. Dates that line up. People who were there. You want to hear how they say it really went down?" Trump's jaw tightened. The swagger was still there, but it looked like it might be slipping. Letterman didn't rush. He let the shock from that first bombshell hang in the air for a few seconds, just long enough for everyone to feel the weight of it. Then he leaned back a little, crossed one leg over the other, and started talking like he was explaining something simple, almost casual. "Let's go back to 2006, he said, voice steady. "That's when Melania was supposedly pregnant with Barron. The public saw the announcements, the photos, the glowing interviews. But if we look closer at the calendar, something doesn't add up. He started with Ivanka. During those key months, roughly March through July of 2006, Ivanka Trump basically vanished from the spotlight. No red carpets, no magazine covers, no family events where she'd normally show up smiling. Her team said she was on extended work trips for the Trump Organization and some modeling gigs overseas. Fair enough, she was busy. But those trips lined up exactly with the window when a pregnancy would have been happening. Letterman paused, letting that sink in. She flew to Europe in late March, stayed out of sight until early June. Then another quick trip to Los Angeles in July. Private, no press pool, no photos leaked. Coincidence? Maybe. But it's a long stretch of time for someone who was usually everywhere. The audience was quiet now, really listening. Trump shifted again, trying to jump in. David, people travel, business, that's what we do. Letterman nodded politely, but didn't let him derail it. Sure, except right around the same time, Melania starts showing up in public looking, pregnant, but always in these loose, flowing outfits. Big sweaters, long coats, empire waist dresses that hide the shape. Photographers got shots from the front, never the side. At events, she stood at angles that kept her profile flat. It was consistent, every single appearance. He clicked through a mental checklist like he'd rehearsed it. April 2006, Melania at a charity lunch in New York, oversized blazer. May, dinner at Mar-a-Lago, floor-length gown with heavy draping. June, photo op at Trump Tower, loose tunic top. July, public walk with Donald, big scarf wrapped around her middle. These weren't random wardrobe choices. They were deliberate, designed to sell the story that she was expecting, month after month. Trump forced a grin, shaking his head. Come on, David. Women wear what they want when they're pregnant. Comfort, style. You're reading way too much into clothes. A few people in the audience chuckled nervously, but most stayed silent, eyes glued to Letterman. He didn't bite back. Instead, he moved to the next piece, calm as ever. Then I talked to someone who was there, Letterman said. A former stylist who worked directly with Melania during that exact period. She reached out after seeing old interviews, said she couldn't stay quiet anymore. Her name's not important right now, she's scared of lawsuits, but she told me details that are hard to ignore. He leaned in just a fraction. She said she was instructed to design custom pieces with built-in padding. Not just loose fabric, actual prosthetic inserts, silicone forms that mimicked a growing belly, strapped on under the clothes. She measured Melania multiple times a week to adjust them as the pregnancy progressed. Different sizes for different months. She even described the fittings. Melania standing still while they taped everything in place, making sure no lines showed in photos. The studio felt colder. Trump's face tightened. He wasn't laughing anymore. That's made up, he said quickly. Total fabrication. Nobody's going to believe some anonymous person with a story like that. But his voice came out sharper, less smooth. Letterman didn't argue. He just quoted the stylist again, word for word, keeping it matter of fact. She said the instructions came straight from the family's inner circle. Make it look real, but never let anyone see the truth. That's what she was told. Every outfit had to photograph perfectly from the front. Side angles were forbidden at events. She quit a few months after Barron was born. Said the whole thing made her sick. Trump opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. David, this is nonsense. Conspiracy junk. Melania gave birth. I was there. End of story. But the words landed flat. The audience wasn't buying the quick dismissal. They were picturing it. The secret fittings, the hidden padding. Ivanka gone while Melania played the part. Letterman didn't push harder. He just sat there, letting the silence do the work. Trump sat there, trying to shake off the stylist's story like it was nothing. He flashed that big grin of his, the one he'd used 1,000 times to win over crowds. David, come on, this is classic fake news. Total hoax. The media's been after me forever with this junk. He waved his hand dismissively, chuckling like it was all a big joke, expecting the audience to laugh along and move on. A few people did snicker, but most just stared, waiting for Letterman's next move. Letterman didn't flinch. He leaned in a bit, voice still calm and even. "Okay, Donald, let's talk specifics then. You say it's fake? Fine. But explain this. Why did Ivanka's trips line up perfectly with Melania's so-called pregnancy stages? March 2006, she's off to Europe right when the bump should have started showing. June, another vanishing act during the third trimester? Coincidence?" Trump opened his mouth quick, but the words didn't come smooth. Business. Yeah, lots of deals. We were building an empire. You know how it is." He stuttered just a touch, enough that the audience noticed, and his grin looked forced now, like he was buying time. Letterman kept going, not letting up. "And those outfits, Donald. Every photo from that time, Melania in baggy coats, no side shots allowed. The stylist says it was all rigged with prosthetics. How do you square that?" Trump cut in sharper this time, his face reddening a little. "Rigged? Give me a break. That's defamation. Pure lies from some disgruntled nobody." The exchange heated up fast, voices overlapping as Trump jabbed a finger toward Letterman. "You're pushing conspiracy theories here, David. Sad, really sad." Letterman stayed cool, holding up a hand like he was just chatting with a buddy. "I'm not pushing anything. I'm asking questions based on what people who were there told me. Like this bodyguard, ex-Secret Service type, who says he drove Ivanka to a private clinic in upstate New York. Not once, but 3 times during those months. Checkups, he called them, but no records public. And Melania? She's out smiling for cameras in the city, belly on display." The audience murmured louder now, sensing the spark. Trump slammed back hard. "Bodyguard? What bodyguard? This is made-up garbage. You're fabricating stories to get ratings. Pathetic." His voice rose, echoing in the studio, and he leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Letterman didn't yell back. He just nodded slowly, then reached for a small remote on his desk. "All right, Donald, don't take my word for it. Let's hear it from the source." He hit play, and an anonymous audio clip crackled through the speakers, the voice deep and distorted for protection. "I picked her up at the penthouse, drove straight to the clinic. No press, no tales. She was showing by then, had to be 6 months along. Then the night of the birth, we switched hospitals. Melania checks into Presbyterian for the show, but the real deal went down at a private spot uptown. Handed the baby off like it was a package. Never saw anything like it." The clip ended, and the room exploded in gasps, people whispering, shifting in their seats. Trump's face went from red to purple. He gripped the armrests tight, looking ready to blow. "That's doctored. Fake audio. You can't just play that crap on TV." He half stood, voice booming, but Letterman cut him off smooth. "It's what he said, Donald. Matches the dates we talked about. You gonna explain the switch or call it all a hoax again?" Trump sat back down hard, breathing heavy. Then Letterman didn't let it die down. He glanced at his producer offstage, then turned back to the camera with that steady gaze. "We've got a caller on the line right now," he said, voice level. "Someone who says they were in the room when it all went down. Let's hear her out." The line crackled open, and a woman's voice came through, shaky but firm, anonymous for safety. "I was a nurse at that private clinic upstate," she started. "July 26th, 2006, Ivanka Trump came in under a fake name. She was in labor, no doubt about it. I assisted with the delivery, a healthy boy. Right after, they whisked him away. No photos, no records. Handed him straight to a team that took him to Melania at the public hospital. I saw the switch happen. Dates match everything you've said." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Trump shot up straighter, his face twisting. "This is insane. Who's this person? Another plant?" But Letterman held up a hand. "She called in 5 minutes ago, Donald. No script. Just someone who's carried this for years." The nurse kept going, dropping more details. Ivanka rested for 2 days post-birth hidden wing. Melania showed up on the news that same night. Giving birth downtown. It was all coordinated. I overheard the calls. Trump muttered under his breath. Lies, all lies. But the audience was hooked, leaning forward like this was live true crime. Letterman nodded thanks to the caller, then pivoted smooth. Donald, this isn't just about you and me. Let's bring in the family. Melania, Ivanka, the whole group. Come on the show next week, clear it all up live. What do you say? Trump hesitated, eyes darting, but before he could answer, his phone buzzed on the desk. He'd left it out, mic'd up by accident. He snatched it, glanced at the screen, then barked into it. No way. Tell them we're not doing it. The rep's voice leaked through faintly. Mr. President, we advise against. Too risky. Trump hung up fast, face flushed. My family doesn't need to dignify this trash. They're busy people, great people. Letterman tilted his head, not missing a beat. Busy or avoiding? Because I've got something here, a leaked email from back then. He signaled the booth, and a screen behind them lit up with a redacted message. From a Trump aide to the clinic, dated July 25, 2006. Confirm handover at 8 p.m. Melania photo op at 9. Keep quiet. The audience erupted in whispers. Trump slammed his fist on the armrest. That's forged. You hacked us or something. This is criminal. Letterman stayed cool. Came from a source last night. Matches the nurse's dates. Your team defending so hard? Why not just come on and prove it's wrong? Trump's temper boiled over. He stood halfway, pointing at Letterman. This is a conspiracy. You're out to get me, David. Fake emails, fake calls, fake everything. The deep state, the media, it's all you. His voice echoed loud, veins popping in his neck. Letterman didn't back down. He reached under his desk and pulled out a folder, then hit a button. The big screen projected what looked like birth records. Barron's certificate, but with annotations showing discrepancies. Ivanka's name scratched out, Melania's added in, dates fudged. These surfaced anonymously today, Letterman said flatly. Hospital logs from the private spot. Shows Ivanka as the mother, then altered before filing. The crowd went wild, shouts, phones out recording. Trump stared at the screen, then exploded. Bullshit, that's not real. He slammed his open palm on the desk so hard the mic rattled, papers flying. I'm done with this circus. Sue you for everything you've got. He turned toward the exit, breathing heavy, the threat of walking out right there, hanging like a bomb about to drop. The studio held its breath. Would he bolt or swing back one more time? Letterman just watched, calm as ever. Letterman let the projected documents linger on the screen just long enough for the shock to settle. Then he clicked them off and turned back to Trump, voice still quiet, but cutting through the noise like a knife. Donald, we've covered a lot tonight. Ivanka's long absences in 2006, Melania's outfits that hid the truth, the stylist who built the prosthetics, the bodyguard who drove her to that clinic, the nurse who watched the baby get handed off, the email coordinating the switch, the altered records. It's all connected. Dates, people, places. One piece after another. He paused, eyes locked on Trump. And now this. He reached for another folder, pulled out a single sheet and held it up casually. An insider, someone who worked in the family's medical circle, sent this over yesterday. It's not the full test, but it's a partial DNA report. From 2007, Barron's early checkup. It shows markers that don't line up with Melania's known profile. They do line up with Ivanka's. Not conclusive on its own, maybe, but it fits. Every single thing fits. The audience erupted in low murmurs. People turning to each other, whispering fast, some pulling out phones to record. Trump's face drained for a second, then flushed deep red again. He stared at the paper like it was poison. That's nothing, fake, doctored. You can't wave around some piece of paper and call it proof." His voice cracked on the last word, higher than usual. Letterman didn't raise his tone. "Then explain it, Donald. Explain why a DNA hint matches the timeline. Why the absences, the handoffs, the cover stories all point the same way. I'm not yelling. I'm asking. Address it." Trump opened his mouth, closed it, then tried deflection. "This is a setup. You're cherry-picking junk to smear me. The American people know the truth." But the words came out rushed, evasive, no fire behind them. The audience murmurs grew louder, disbelief mixing with fascination. Trump glanced around, saw the shift, and his jaw clenched hard. He was cornered, and everyone could see it. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. Trump shoved his chair back with a loud scrape and stood up fast, towering over the desk. "This is defamatory, all of it. Lies, fabrications, a total witch hunt." His voice boomed through the studio, echoing off the walls. "I'm not sitting here for one more second of this garbage. My lawyers will be in touch, David. You'll be hearing from them soon, big time. This ends now." He jabbed a finger at Letterman, then at the camera, mid-rant. "The American people see through this." He cut himself off, spun on his heel, and stormed toward the exit, coat flapping, security scrambling to keep up. The audience sat stunned for a beat, total silence, then exploded into a chaotic mix of gasps, shouts, and scattered applause from different corners. Phones flashed everywhere. Trump disappeared through the curtain without looking back, the door slamming behind him. The studio lights felt brighter in the sudden quiet that followed his exit. Letterman stayed seated, calm as ever, microphone still live. He looked straight into the camera, no smirk, no gloating, just that steady gaze. "Well," he said softly. He didn't want to answer the questions. That's his choice. The crowd settled a little, hanging on his next words. "We've heard from stylists, bodyguards, nurses, documents, even a DNA hint tonight. If any of it's wrong, the door's open. Come back, bring the family, clear it up. Until then..." He let the pause stretch, meaningful. There's more out there, more people talking, more pieces that might show up. We'll see what happens next. He gave a small nod to the audience. "Thanks for being here. Good night." The band kicked in soft, but nobody clapped right away. They just sat there. The interview cut to black, but the explosion was just getting started. Within minutes, clips were everywhere. Trump storming off, the DNA hint flashing on screen, the nurse's shaky voice, the projected documents. Social media lit up like fireworks. Hashtag Barren Truth and hashtag Letterman Bombshell trended worldwide before the credits even rolled. Cable news jumped in fast. CNN ran split screens of Trump's exit and the audience's stunned faces. Fox called it a disgraceful ambush, but couldn't stop replaying the walkout. MSNBC looped the audio clip from the bodyguard on repeat. Pundits argued for hours, some screaming hoax, others demanding answers. By morning, it was wall-to-wall coverage. Late-night hosts cracked jokes about it, but even they sounded half-serious. The clip of Trump slamming the desk and vowing lawsuits got millions of views overnight. People weren't just watching. They were dissecting every frame, every stutter, every evasion. Then came the new twist nobody saw coming. A grainy video leaked online around 2 a.m., clearly shot from a phone in the green room right after Trump bolted. It showed him pacing like a caged animal, face purple, yelling at aides. "This is bullshit. Get my lawyers on the phone, sue that bastard for everything, and find out who the hell these insiders are." He kicked over a chair, knocked a water bottle flying, then spun on a staffer. "Nobody talks. Nobody. You hear me?" The audio was muffled but unmistakable. His voice raw, furious, nothing like the polished president on TV. The clip spread like wildfire. Twitter exploded with reactions. "He looks guilty AF. That's not the reaction of an innocent man. Deep state setup or real cover-up?" Even some Trump supporters went quiet, posting question marks instead of defenses. The rage in that private moment amplified everything. Speculation went from whispers to shouts. If he was this unhinged off camera, what else was he hiding? The family's silence didn't help. No statements from Melania, no tweets from Ivanka, no nothing. Just crickets. Then, 2 days later, anonymous texts started popping up on X and Reddit, screenshots from burner numbers, supposedly from people inside the circle. One read, "Ivanka's been crying nonstop since the show. They told her to stay off socials or it gets worse. Family's in lockdown mode." Another, "Melania won't even say his name right now. Pressure from the top to keep quiet. Lawsuits if anyone speaks." A third claimed, "They know more people are talking. The nurse wasn't the only one." The messages weren't verified, but they looked real. Timestamps, casual typos, the kind of raw detail that feels authentic. Letterman addressed it in a quick follow-up segment he taped the next week, sitting alone at his desk, no guests, just straight talk. "These texts surfaced," he said, calm as ever. "I don't know if they're real, but if they are, it tells you something. When a family won't come on to deny it, when the response is silence and pressure instead of proof, that's not how innocent people usually act. The door's still open, anytime." If this story hit you like it hit everyone else that night, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss the next drop.